about 70% of those businesses lost anywhere from 50 to 80% of their revenue. So for those of you who have business owners out there, or God forbid restaurant owners in places like New York and California, my heart goes out to you all around the world, or Australia, anywhere you are. And I just want you to know that these next few days, my commitment is to show you what we've been able to do in so many of these areas so that you can really have an impact, so that you don't find yourself feeling out of control. And don't get me wrong, there's all kinds of things we can't control. We all know that. We're in a situation that's unlike any we've seen in a long time. And with all that has created even more strife politically, strife that's gone on racially in some parts of the world, the US, for example. But in the midst of this winter time, and it's clearly winter, some people freeze to death in winter, other people figure out how to snowboard or ski, how to build a great fire, how to be with their family, how to grow. And my heartfelt wish is to really serve you in a way this week that'll blow your way, that'll really give you the momentum that you need. Because as I always say, there's two worlds to master, right? There's the external world, and listen, we can influence it, but we can't control it completely. But everything in the external world started in your internal world. And if we master this internal world, then you're gonna have an extraordinary quality of life no matter what happens. Patterns that'll make you angry and frustrated and stressed and overwhelmed and lonely, depressed, overwhelmed, whatever, stressed. And there are patterns that'll make you feel excited, passionate, playful, strong, resilient, something that'll make you feel euphoric even at times. And many times we think it's because of what's happening in the outside world. But the truth is we all have what I call an emotional home, a place that we go back to. It's easy to see when it's somebody else that they should move, but it's what they know, it's where they've grown up. But we all have an emotional home and we don't see it. And that emotional home is controlling the quality of your life. I don't know what it is you truly want, but I know there are specific tools that'll get you through the problems, the challenges, accelerate your success, and most importantly, make sure that you have a fulfillment. Because there are a lot of people that succeed in business and finance and their careers and even have a beautiful family, and they're still not happy. Because their emotional home, what they kind of grew up with inside themselves, the thing they know, they go back to, like those people going back to the home that they know is going to get destroyed again. And so we want to see if we can't expand your emotional home this week and give you a set of skills, tools for your body, for your emotions, for your relationships, for your business, for your career, and for your finance. In other words, let's look at the full picture of your life. And what I've discovered is you can't separate these two. If you try to think yourself into thinking positive, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, and your brain goes, BS, read between the lines, I'm not happy, right? You have to be able to train your body and your mind. When they work together, there's no limit to what you can experience. But you can have $1 billion and have a miserable life, true? And you can have no money whatsoever and have a magnificent life, because it all comes down to the patterns of emotion you have. If you got $1 billion and your primary home, the emotions you come back to, your brain finds a way to get back there, whether it's good or bad, is to feel frustrated and angry, then the quality of your life is frustrated and angry. It has nothing to do with $1 billion. If you have the most beautiful children, a great husband, wife, great family, but the primary emotions you live in every day is worry and stress, then you don't experience the love and joy of your family. Your life is called worry and stress. If you have certain emotions, it won't matter how much you achieve, it won't matter if COVID's here or not, it won't matter if there's political division or not, you're gonna be miserable. And if you can find a way to master this internal emotion, where you have more gratitude or more joy or more excitement or more passion or more drive or more hunger or more playfulness, your life will completely transform. Because the way we measure our life is how we feel. But I'd say this to you. If you want to change a relationship, the number one thing you have to do is master your own emotions. If you don't do that, forget it. There's no hope. And what's wonderful though is, it's easy to do. It's that energy is part of life. And if you're sitting passively listening, you're not gonna be able to listen very long, certainly not 50 hours, anything like that. If you turned on and you saw a rock and roll concert, you'd see people cheering, going for it. If you went to a sporting event, why do people do it? Because there's an energy there. So I create that in those environments. I'm very clear that I believe that life is about leadership and being truthful to yourself. And so I believe, number one, that the mandate for any great relationship and the mandate for anybody to lead their own life and not be a follower is you got to see things as they are, but not worse than they are. Because that's where most people go. That's where they go in relationship. That's why they start to tear it down. That's why the relationship starts to break down, because people get scared when it isn't working out, and then they make it worse than it is so they don't have to try. because they don't want to try again and be disappointed. They don't want to feel that sense of rejection. They don't want to feel that sense of failure. So most people make it much worse than it is. People tell me all the time, oh, I'm skeptical or I'm pessimistic. I say, no, you're gutless. It takes no guts, it takes no courage to be a pessimist, to say it's not going to work, to try to find out what's wrong. What's wrong is always available. It's always what's right. So I'm not into positive thinking, but I am into intelligence. And intelligence says, see it as it is, don't make it worse than it is. The only way it gets better is if you can see it as it is. Don't make it worse than it is. Don't try to make it so it's impossible to change. That's not true. It's not true at all. The second mandate, I think, to changing anything in your life, to leading your life, is once you see it as it is, not worse than it is, then you got to see it better than it is. Because that's the thing that's missing from most relationships. There's no vision. I mean, without a vision, in the Bible it says, people what? Perish. And when a relationship has no vision for greater than where they are, that relationship is going downhill, if not destroyed. I believe that every relationship, every part of life, every part of a human being needs a compelling future. If the future's not more compelling than today could be tough, but if the future's compelling, we can get there. And that's what every leader does. And every one of you in this room, and I know some of you are here, I guess, from the general public as well, just for your own relationship, I really acknowledge you for. But I know that you're from the military here, I know the therapists here, people from all walks of life, you're all leaders. What's your job? To lead. Your job is to help people see it as it is, not worse than it is. What's your job? Help them create a compelling future. See it better than it is, so there's a reason to give my all again. Otherwise, there's just no juice. There's no energy. Why? They'll go through the motions, complain with each other, not really believe it's going to work, and nothing will change. And then finally, the third step that we've all got to do if we're going to change our life or anybody else's is make it the way we see it. And that's where strategy comes in. I try to take things that are complex and make them as simple as possible. I've noticed most people in the psychological world try to make it as complex as humanly possible. So what's the first step when you think you're feeling rejection? What's step number one? Come on, guys, what is it? Identify it, specifically, identify what the emotion really is. Let's call it that. Identify what the emotion really is. Identify what the emotion really is. So you ask yourself, what am I really feeling? So a person said rejection. What were you really feeling? And by the way, when he realizes he's just disappointed, it's not as intense as rejection, is it? What happened with one question? His pain just dropped. Now, so he's disappointed. Great, so now he knows what he really is disappointed. He might even add some TV or a softener here. And the softener might be, he might say, I was a what? A little bit disappointed. Well, I'm a little bit disappointed. Okay, that makes it even less. Now what does he do? Number two, does he make himself wrong for feeling that way? Yes or no? Yes or no? What does he do? He needs to acknowledge and what else? Appreciate the fact that he's getting a very valuable message. And it's a message he needs to change something. He needs to either change his perception about it so he's no longer disappointed, or he needs to change his actions so he doesn't be disappointed now or in the future. Step three, what does he need to do? Get incredibly what? Like a little kid? What? Curious. When we're curious, do we learn things more? Do we learn better when we're curious? You bet. So he needs to get incredibly curious about what this message has to offer him. If you were really curious, what do you think that message really had to offer you?
Discipline with desire is easy. Discipline isn't that hard if you have real desire. I mean, if you want something bad enough, the discipline's not too difficult. I think discipline without desire is very difficult.
How many of you, within the course of your lifetime, have the capacity to be peaceful? The capacity to be peaceful. If you have the capacity to be peaceful, then you are already moving in the right direction. Because we as human beings, naturally and innately, have the capacity to be peaceful. Because when we are at peace with ourselves, we are experiencing our enlightened consciousness, yes? So this is how transformation works. We have to let go of all the golden carrots that have been dangled in front of us of success, of accumulation, of being more, because more isn't necessarily more. Do you understand that?
When people ask me, like, what's the one thing that led you to having the kind of success that you've had? I say that. I switched my identity, my sense of pride and self-esteem around to something that is truly anti-fragile. Because now if you tell me that I'm stupid, I will say, awesome. In what way? Because if you tell me in what way I'm wrong, if you tell me in what way I'm ignorant, then I can learn. Go back. The only belief that matters. You can learn anything you set your mind to. So someone telling you that you're stupid or undereducated or you don't know what you're talking about, fantastic.
It's not only love, your happiness, your joy, your peacefulness, your love, anything that happens within you, when your inner experience is determined by something or someone, that is the world of slavery.
Imagination is not only the uniquely human capacity to envision that which is not, and therefore the fount of all invention and innovation. In its arguably most transformative and revelatory capacity, it is the power that enables us to empathize with humans whose experiences we have never shared.